Wait, you're telling me here someone logged into his account, opened a scholarship mail, deleted it, and set a filter so he will never see future messages on purpose? Not a mistake, seriously? Let's get down to the story.
Mom, they said I never replied. I grabbed the phone from my son's hand, staring at the email on the screen, except there was nothing there. No message. No acceptance. Just an empty inbox where his scholarship offer was supposed to be. We were standing in our kitchen, his laptop still open, the admissions office on speaker. My son, Ethan, 17, had just been told he missed the deadline for the one opportunity he'd worked years for. But here's the problem. They did send it 3 days ago, and somehow it vanished. No spam, no trash, no trace. Then the woman on the call said something that didn't sit right. The slot has already been reassigned. Reassigned. To someone else. Someone we knew. Before I could even process that, I opened Ethan's email settings and froze. Because there was a forwarding address added. One he never put there. And it belonged to my sister. So I called her. And the first thing she said was, I was going to tell you about the scholarship. Before we continue with this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for updates. What do you mean you were going to tell me? I asked, my voice lower than I expected. Ethan was right next to me, close enough that I could feel the tension coming off him. He wasn't saying anything now, just watching, listening, trying to understand how something this big could disappear without him even knowing. Claire hesitated for half a second. Just enough for it to feel wrong. I didn't want you to hear it from someone else, she said carefully. Lena got the scholarship. We just found out. My grip tightened around the phone. Just found out. I repeated. Today? Yeah, she said quickly. This morning. That didn't make sense. Because the admissions office had just told me the offer was sent out 3 days ago, with a strict deadline. A deadline Ethan somehow missed. I turned slightly, pulling the phone away from Ethan for a second, but not enough that he couldn't still hear. Claire, I said, keeping my tone steady, why is your email connected to Ethan's account? Silence. Not confusion. Not surprise. Silence. Then she let out a small breath.
Oh, that.
I was just helping him clean up his inbox when I was over. You know how messy kids are with emails. I glanced at Ethan. He shook his head immediately. I didn't ask her to do that, he whispered. I went back to the call. You added a forwarding address, I said. Your address. It's not a big deal, she replied, a little sharper now. I probably forgot to remove it.
Probably.
The word echoed in my head, because nothing about this felt accidental. I looked back at the laptop, at the empty inbox, then at the settings screen still open in front of me. And that's when I saw it. A rule. Not just forwarding. A filter. Anything from the scholarship committee, automatically marked as read. And removed. My stomach dropped. Claire, I said slowly, what exactly did you do on his email? Her voice changed. Subtle, but there. You're overreacting, she said. It's just an email. Just an email. Behind me, Ethan finally spoke again, but his voice didn't sound like his own. Mom, that email was everything. I closed my eyes for a second. Then I asked the one question she couldn't dodge. Did you see his scholarship offer before he did? This time, the silence stretched longer. And when she finally answered, she didn't say no. I need you to answer me, Claire. My voice didn't rise, but it hardened. On the other end of the line, I could hear movement. A chair scraping. Maybe pacing. She wasn't calm anymore. I told you, she said, sharper now. I was just helping him organize things. You're twisting this into something it's not. I looked at the screen again. The forwarding address. The filter rule. The empty inbox where something life-changing should have been sitting. Then I looked at Ethan. He was staring at the table now, jaw tight, like he was trying to hold himself together. Mom, after she used my laptop, he said quietly, I got logged out of my email. I turned back toward the phone. You logged him out too? It probably timed out. Claire shot back quickly. Too quickly. That happens. Right after you were in his account? You're reaching.
No.
I wasn't. Because something still didn't add up. If the email had been sent 3 days ago and Ethan never saw it, then someone else did. Claire, I said, slower now. Did you open an email from the scholarship committee while you were here? She didn't answer. Instead, she deflected. You should be focusing on what's next for Ethan, not accusing family. That word, family, landed wrong. Because if this was family, why did it feel like something had been taken? And why hadn't she told us Lena got the scholarship until now? I tightened my grip on the phone. Then explain something to me, I said. Why did the admissions office say Ethan's spot was already given away before we even knew he had one? The slot was reassigned. I repeated, the words still ringing in my head. Before we even knew he had it. Claire didn't respond right away. And that pause again felt like confirmation. Those decisions happen fast, she said finally. If he didn't reply, they had to move on. Move on. Like this was normal. Like nothing about this was off. I stepped away from Ethan and lowered my voice. They said the email was opened, Claire. Silence. Not surprise. Just stillness. They have logs, I added. Timestamps. Activity. I could hear her breathing now, uneven. And it was opened while you were here. Sitting at our table. Using his laptop. You don't know that, she snapped, but the edge in her voice had shifted. Less confident. More defensive. I do, I said. Because right after that, the email was deleted. Permanently. Behind me, Ethan's chair scraped sharply against the floor. He'd heard that. You went into his account. I continued, each word slower than the last. You saw the offer, and you made sure he never could. That's not what happened, she fired back. Then tell me what did. Another pause. Then she said something that changed everything. Lena needed that opportunity too. Needed. Not earned. Needed. And in that moment, it wasn't about confusion anymore. It was about intention. I didn't respond, because now I wasn't guessing. I was done asking. I'm coming over, I said. Don't, she started. But I'd already hung up. And as I grabbed my keys, Ethan called after me. Mom, if she did this. I stopped at the door. Because I didn't have an answer for him. Not yet. But I was about to get one. By the time Claire opened the door, she already knew this wasn't a normal visit. You shouldn't have come, she said quickly, stepping halfway into the doorway like she could block what was already happening. I'm not leaving without the truth, I replied, walking past her into the living room. The house was quiet. Too quiet. No TV, no music, just tension sitting in the air. Claire closed the door behind me. You're making this bigger than it is. I turned, pulling up the email logs on my phone and holding them out. This is bigger than you think. She glanced at the screen, and I watched it happen. That flicker. Recognition. Guilt. You opened his scholarship email, I said. 3 days ago. From his account. I told you. I was helping. And then you deleted it. I cut in. And set a filter so he'd never see anything else from them. Her jaw tightened. No denial this time. Just resistance. You don't understand what it's like, she said suddenly, her voice rising. Watching your child come second over and over.
Hold on. She didn't deny opening his email or deleting it. She jumped straight to defending why. So this wasn't helping. This was intentional.
This wasn't a competition, I snapped. You made it one. She deserved a chance. Claire shot back. Just one fair chance. By taking his? The silence that followed was heavier than anything she'd said. Because that was it. That was the truth sitting between us. She didn't deny it. She justified it. And, before I could say anything else, a voice came from behind us. Claire, what is she talking about? We both turned. Her husband was standing there. And from the look on his face, he had no idea what she'd done. For a second, no one spoke. Claire's husband looked between us, confusion turning into something sharper. What is she talking about? Claire didn't answer. So I did. I stepped forward, holding out my phone again. 3 days ago, Ethan received a scholarship offer. Your wife accessed his email, opened it, and deleted it. Then she set up a filter so he'd never see anything from them again. His face didn't change immediately, but his eyes did. Slowly, he turned to her. Tell me that's not true. Claire swallowed. I didn't.
She stopped.
Because there was no version of this that sounded innocent anymore. I just made sure Lena had a chance, she said, finally, quieter now. A chance, he repeated, disbelief cutting through every word. You sabotaged your own nephew. It wasn't like that. It is exactly like that. The room went still. And for the first time, Claire didn't argue back. Because there was nothing left to argue. I didn't wait for anything else. I left. That night I gathered everything. Screenshots, email logs, timestamps, the forwarding rule, the deletion record, every detail. And the next morning, I called the scholarship board again. This time, I didn't ask questions. I presented evidence. There was a long silence on the other end as they reviewed it. Then a shift in tone, formal, serious. They opened an internal investigation. Within days, they confirmed it. Unauthorized access, interference, manipulation of applicant communication. The process had been compromised. And when that happened, they didn't ignore it. Lena's scholarship was revoked. Not because she applied, but because it had been obtained through interference. Ethan's case was reinstated. He was reissued the offer, with an extension and a formal apology from the board. But when I told him, he didn't celebrate. He just sat there quiet. Did she really do that? He asked. I nodded. He looked down at his hands. Why? I didn't have a simple answer. Because the truth wasn't simple. The fallout came fast. Claire's husband moved out within the week. Family started calling, then stopped when they realized it was true. And Lena? She found out everything. And she didn't defend her mother. She stopped speaking to her completely. Because even she understood what Claire refused to admit. Winning like that isn't winning. A week later, Ethan and I sat down together at the same kitchen table. Same laptop. Same email. This time, when the confirmation came in, we opened it together. Every step. No silence. No interference. Just clarity. He hovered over the final button, then clicked.
Confirmed.
He leaned back slightly, exhaling. She almost took it, he said quietly. I shook my head. No, I told him. She tried. And this time, she didn't win.
If something this deliberate can happen inside one family without anyone noticing, how many other decisions like that are happening quietly right now without the person affected ever realizing it?